Okey-dokey, so we're on to round number 1 of our green tea floral block, and the color that I'm using is Sunshine. So we're going to start with a magic loop, right? And we're just going to chain 2 into our magic loop, okay? So 1, 2, and that counts as a half double crochet. Chain 1. Now we're going to work another 7 half double crochets and a chain 1. Okay. So if you don't know how to make a magic loop, you can just pop along to YouTube and have a look how it's done. But this pattern is for intermediate or advanced beginners. So I'm taking it for granted you guys know how to make a magic ring. Okay, so our first two chains we're going to count as half double crochet. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8. Okay, and don't forget that last chain 1. And then you're just going to pull your loop closed and slip stitch. I slip stitch into the second half double crochet and then fasten off. So you can fasten off any way that you prefer. All right, I just do it the traditional way, which is to make a slip stitch into this your beginning stitch. In this case I do it in the second half double crochet like that. Okay, or you can use an invisible join. Okay, but there you go. So you should have 8 half double crochets separated by 8 chain 1 spaces, and I shall see you at round number 2. My tails yet, so I'll do a couple of rounds and then work in my tails. So now you're just going to round number 2. Our color is Meadow, and what we're going to do is, so one of the reasons I said don't fasten off yet, sorry, not fasten off, work in your tails, is we need to keep that little center hole not quite tightly closed yet, right? Because we're going to be working into that little space. Okay, so now just pop your hook under your chain 1 space like that. So we're working on the wrong side. Okay, and we're going to work a double crochet. So I'm starting off with a chain 3 and then chain 2, yarn over and continue the sequence. Chain 2, yarn over, one, 2. I'm just going to go all the way around with you, just this beginning part. 1, 2. Right, so we're just working between those half double crochets. We're working into that little center hole. 1, 2. And so you should end up with 8 double crochets and 8 chain 2 spaces. 1, 2. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so you just got to work over those tails. 1, 2, and now to close, just slip stitch into your chain 2 space, like so. Fasten off. Right. And now you can pull all your bits and bobs together, right, and work in your tails. Okay, so I shall see you at round number 3. Okay, so we have our rather odd looking little shape here. So we're going to go on to round number 3, and round number 3, the color I'm using is cream. So for those of you who've been following my videos since the beginning or so, you'll know that I always give a weather update, a Cape Town weather update. Well, I'm looking out of the window as we speak. It's a bright blue, clear day. I have no idea what the temperature is, probably around 24. It's only 7 a.m. in the morning, and it is incredibly humid, about 60% humidity. So I'm already melting at 7 a.m. in the morning in Cape Town, South Africa. Alrighty, so now the color we're using, as I said, is cream. We're going to be working into those chain 1 spaces that we made in round number 1 between the half double crochets. All right. And now what you're going to do is you're going to chain 2 into that space. Then you're going to work 2 double crochets. 1, 2. Then you'll chain 2 and slip stitch back into that same chain 1 space. Then you're going to skip over your next half double crochet and slip stitch into the next chain 1 space. Chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, single crochet, slip stitch back into your chain 1 space, slip stitch into the next chain 1, chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, slip stitch back into your chain 1 space, slip stitch into the next chain 1, and I'll do this one more time. Chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and slip stitch back. And now you're just going to carry on like that all the way around, and to finish off you'll just slip stitch into your last chain 1 space and then pull your yarn through the loop, and you can take your loop and just work it into the first, sort of at the bottom of that very beginning chain 2 space, and then you can tie them together at the back and then work in the ends. Okay, so you should have 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, so you're going to work another 4, so you should end up with 8 little petals, and that is round number 3, and I shall see you at round number 4. Okay, so I thought I would just show you how to finish off. All right, so I've worked the last slip stitch. You just pull. Right, so now just going to thread this through our darning needle. So this is the way I do it. All right, and then I just take it through the back of that first stitch that we made. Okay, and then work in your ends. You should end up with something, well, not something, you should end up with your little flower. It's tucking in. Yeah, it's a bit challenging to work in your ends when you don't have so much fabric, so to speak, to work into, but you can do it. I think working in the tails is an art in itself, isn't it? Okay, so there's your little flower, and that is round number 3, and I shall see you at round number 4. Okie dokie, so we're on to round number 4, and the color I'm using is Stone. So I hope that the light is okay. It's still really early, but my workroom, my little work cupboard, very tiny little room, has one large window that doesn't face the light. I don't get much sunlight until the afternoon, and then in the summertime, when the sun does shine in here, it shines from about 2 until 6 or so, and then it's impossible to work in my workroom. It becomes an oven. And then in the wintertime, I probably get an hour of sunlight, but I'm not complaining. I'm very grateful to have a space where I can keep all my bits and pieces, all my yarn, and so on and so forth. So for that, I'm grateful. Okay, so the color we're going to use now is the Stone. And this time, we're going to be working into our chain 2 spaces between our double crochets from round number 2. Okay, and we're going to be making we're going to be making 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochet. Okay, then we're going to single crochet front post over our 1 double crochet. So we're going to fit, so we're going into our chain 2 space. All right, so you can do a standing double crochet, but I'm going to start the traditional way with a chain 3, right, and a double crochet. So our chain 3 is equal to 1 double crochet, chain 2, and then two double crochet into the same space. Then we're going to single crochet front post over that double crochet from round number. So it's a bit awkward when you start. Then we're going to go, yeah, so we single crochet front post over that double crochet from round number 2. Then you're going to work 2 double crochets. So we're working those 2 double crochets into each of the chain 2 spaces. Chain 2 and then 2 double crochets. So in all, into each chain 2 space, you have 4 double crochets and a chain 2 space. Yarn over, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, single crochet front post. I'm going to just do this a couple of more times. 1, 2, 1, oopsie, 1, 2, single crochet front post, yarn over, 1, 2, chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet front post, 1, 2, chain 2. I may as well do the whole lot with you. It's not a very long round. 1, 2, 2 double crochets, single crochet front post, yarn over into the next chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, double crochets, single crochet front post, 1, don't do that, 1, 2, chain 2, and your last 2 double crochets. Right, then you're going to single crochet front post over that last, or should I say the very first, or is it the very last double crochet from round number 2, and then just slip stitch into your second double crochet and pass off. Right, and then work in your tails. Rightio, so you're going to have that super duper cute little flower going on. Now I know I called this green tea, so expect a lot of green. Expect a lot of green. So what I have been sort of saying to people, you know, when they ask me about the reference with the teas, that it's not so much that I'm crocheting green tea, it's just the feeling that I get from it, you know. I have to tell you honestly, I absolutely cannot stand green tea. It is the most awful stuff I've ever tasted, and I know I'm going to be shot down in flames because so many people I know love green tea, but I can't stand it, and weirdly, neither can my body, because if I have even just half a cup of green tea, my whole body just goes into shock. I start shaking and shivering and sweating, and I have the most incredibly intense reaction to green tea. And I have no idea why, because I know it's super, super healthy. My body just can't seem to take it. So there you go. Okay, so that is our round number 4. The colorway is stone. We're going to end up with 8 of these little petals, and each of the petals is made up of 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, single crochet front post, and so on and so forth. So you should have 8 single crochet front post and 8 petals made up of what I just said. Okay, so I shall see you at round number 5. Okay, so we're on to round number 5, and the color we're using is walnut. And before I go any further, I just want to do a color correction in the video, although I've already put it in the text pattern, and you already know this. I'm going to say it anyway. Our green is not meadow, but cypress. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to find that space between our 2 double crochets and our 2 double crochets, so underneath that chain 2 space, we're going to be working into our chain space from round number 2, like that. We're going to make 3 double crochets. So I'm starting the traditional way, chain 3, which is equal to 1 double crochet, but you can make a standing double crochet. Right, so we're working into that same space that we made those double crochets from round number 4. And then we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and repeat. So we're working on the wrong side of our work. Right, so we're just planting those 3 little double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over. Again. 1, 2, 3. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're just going to carry on like that. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you're going to go around your petals like that at the back, so working into our chain space from round number 2 and also between our round number 4, the double crochets in round number 4. Okay, working at the back. And then when you've gone all the way around, you just slip stitch into your second double crochet, and you should have 8 sets of 3 double crochets and 8 chain 4 spaces, and then fasten off and work in your ends. And I shall see you at round number 6. Okay, so we're on to round number 6, and the color we're using is Cypress. And we're going to be working into our previous chain 4 spaces. We're going to start, so you can pick any one. We're going to start with 3 chains, all right? And the 3 chains are equal to 3 chains. So then we're going to work a treble, chain 3, then we're going to work another treble, and we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, going to slip stitch back into that same chain 4 space. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, work another treble, chain 3, yarn over, work another treble, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch back into our chain 4 space. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip over our 3 double crochets. We're going to slip stitch into the next chain 4 space. 1, 2, 3. 1 treble, chain 3, 1 treble, chain 3, slip stitch back into our chain 4 space, chain 3, 1 treble, chain 3, 1 treble, chain 3, slip stitch back into our chain 4 space, 1, 2, 3, and skip our 3 double crochets. So what you're going to have is that. Okay, and you're just going to repeat that all the way around, and when you when you get to the end where you've done your 2 little bunny ears, sorry about the noisy neighbor, but I think for many of you who've been following my videos for a few years, you know about the noisy neighbor. Right, so when you've done the last 2 bunny ears, you're just going to chain 3, and then you can snip off and then pull your little tail through, and then just work the tail end sort of into the bottom of your beginning stitch. Okay, and then fasten off and work in all the tails. Okay, so they look like bunny ears. I'm just going to call them bunny ears. All right, so that is round number 6, and I shall see you at round number 7. Okie dokie, so we're on to round number 7. And round number 7, we're going to be working with our walnut. Now, what you're going to do is go back to the round where you used the same color, right? Where we made our 3 double crochets, like that. Now you're going to be working in front of that chain 3 from our previous round, and we're going to be working a double crochet front post over our middle, so our second double crochet, but we're going to be working over our chain space, like that. All right, so where we made our chain space in round number 4, so that was our chain 2 space, all right, like that. So we're working, I always struggle to explain how to do something, so it's probably best that you just watch me. So we're going to be working in front of the chain 3s from our previous round, and we're going to be working in front of the chain 2s from round number 4, but we're going to be working into our round number 6, number 5, not number 6, round number 5. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to find that second one, that second double crochet. You're just going to pull it to the front. Okay, so now you can see the 2 chain spaces, our chain 2 and our chain 3. And we're going to work a chain 3 front post. So for me, that is equal to a double crochet front post, right? Then we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and repeat. Now you can work in front of these chains for the time being, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a bit difficult to explain. I'm saying you can work in front of your chains. Well, you have to work in front of your chain spaces, but you can make your chains on the right side of your work as well. And I'll show you why it's just a bit more convenient to do that for the time being. Okay, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over. Okay, just make sure you are getting that second double crochet from round number 5. I find it difficult working with a dark yarn. I can't see properly. Okay, doing those double crochet front posts, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over. So you're scooting on under that chain 2 space, you're grabbing your double crochet, bringing it to the front, double crochet front post. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm just going to stop there. So it's going to look a little bit like a dog's breakfast right now. But then what we do is we're going to move our little bunny ears to the front of our work. So to the right side, like so. Okay, so it's going to look like that. All right, so now everything that I'm saying makes sense, I hope. Oh dear. All right, so basically what you're going to end up with is 8 double crochet front posts, all right, over the middle or the second double crochet from round number 5 and of the same color. So, you know, the suggestion is to continue with the same color. And then you're going to have 8 times chain 5 spaces, and this time they will be on the wrong side or behind, you know, at the back of your work. But when you're working those chains, you can work in the front and then just pull your bunny ears forward. Okay, so it's very, very simple, sometimes a bit more difficult to explain. Okay, so that is round number 7. And then when you fasten off, just slip stitch into the very first chain 5 space, and you can work in your ends. Okay, so that is round number 7, and I shall see you at round number 8. Okay, and as you can see, I've just made a slip stitch into the first chain 5 space and fastened off like that. So easy peasy. Right, so your work's going to look like that on the front, okay, and that at the back. Right, so again, round number 7 done and dusted, and I shall see you at round number 8. Okay, so we're on to round number 8, and round number 8 I'm continuing with the same color, walnut. So I fastened off the previous round, because you might want to use another color. This is just really a background color, so you can carry on with the same walnut, or you can change up your color. Right, now we're going to find one of our chain 5 spaces, and you're going to work a double crochet. So I'm starting with the chain 3, but you can use a standing double crochet if that's what you do. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to work another double crochet into that chain 5 space. Then you're going to chain 1, yarn over, and we're going to work a double crochet front post over our previous double crochet front post. Then you're going to chain 1, and into the next chain 5 space you'll work a double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 3, a double crochet, chain 1, yarn over, and work a double crochet front post over the next double crochet front post. Then you'll chain 1 into the next chain 5, a double crochet, chain 3 in between the next double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet front post, chain 1. I'm just going to do this one more time, into the next chain 5, 1 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, a double crochet, chain 1, a double crochet front post over the next double crochet front post, chain 1, and so on. Right, like that. Okay, so it's going to look like that. Okay, so between your double crochet front post, you're going to have sort of a V-stitch. It's not really a V-stitch, but it looks like a V-stitch with a chain 3 in between. Okay, so you're going to end up with 8 chain 3s, 16 chain 2s, and 8 double crochet front posts. Right, and then to close, you can just slip stitch. So we started with a double crochet and a chain 3, so you can just slip stitch into that beginning chain 3 space and fasten off. Okay, so pretty simple, quick and easy. Now if your tension is very tight, you know, because as you can see with the acrylic you've got a lot of stretch, and as I've said before in my videos, I take that stretch into consideration when I'm designing. But if you're using 100% cotton, for example, you might find that it doesn't have so much stretch, and some cottons are cotton blends, and they might have polyester in or acrylic, and then they do have a bit of a stretch. So in that case you might want to, where I've said do a chain 1, you might want to do a chain 2 on either side of the double crochet front post, but it should sit nice and flat and not curl up or feel tight. Okay, if that helps. Of course, you can always go onto our Hooks and Tails pattern workshop group, and the members there will help you. You can always ask any question that you want as we work through the patterns, and you know, you'll get lots and lots of suggestions and help from our wonderful members. Okay, so without further ado, let's move on to round number 9. Okay, so we're on to round number 9, and we're going to start brightening up our colors a bit, or at least I am. So the color I'm using here is Aster. I think it's my favorite color at the moment. Right, so it's almost a purpley blue, but not quite. It's like a forget-me-not blue. It's very beautiful. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to work into the chain 3 space between our 2 double crochets. So remember I was saying it looks like a big fat V stitch. We're going to work into that chain 3 space from our previous round, and we're going to work 6 double crochets. So I'm going to start with my usual chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, and so I've got 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now you can add an extra chain here if you feel that it's pulling a bit tight. And we're going to go all the way down to our chain 3 space from round number 6. We're going to work single crochet, then 1, 2, 3, yarn over, and we're back to our chain 3 space from the previous round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3, and single crochet into that chain 3 space at the back. 1, 2, 3, and again into our chain 3 space, 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and you're just going to go around like that, all the way around. So you're going to have 8 sets of 6 double crochets. All right, so you're going to have 8 sets of 6 double crochets, like that. Then you're going to have 16 chain 3 spaces and you'll have 8 single crochets. All right, so that's a nice easy peasy round. You're going to go all the way around, and then to finish off you'll just slip stitch into your second double crochet and fasten off. And I shall see you at round number 10. Now round number 10 is an indie round, so that means although we're working in the round, it's not joined, and that's an optional round, but I'm going to do it anyway. But you can skip it and think about it later, and you might want to come back and do that. Okay, so round number 9 done and dusted, and I shall see you at our indie round number 10. We're on to our little independent round, and as I said, this is completely optional, but I am labeling this round number 10 so it might throw your numbers out. So what we're going to do is we are going to work, so we're going to work on the wrong side, and we're going to be working into our chain 5 space from round number 7. And we're just going to work a popcorn. 1, so work over your tail. 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. And then you'll just fasten off and snip off your tail, and then I like to do that so nothing comes adrift. Right, and then you're going to pull your tail, and that will help to neaten up your popcorn. And then of course you're going to have to work in all those little tails. Okay, so what that's going to do is just give you that little pop of color in front of your 6 double crochets. So it's not a big feature, and you honestly do not have to do it. So you could either leave it just like that, or you could have that little pop of color. Okay, absolutely optional. So for round number 10, our optional round, you are going to work 8 of those into the same space, into the chain 5 space from round number 7, and then work in all your tails, and that's round number 10. Independent round number 10. Okay, so I shall see you at round number 11. What I forgot to mention, very important, is that if you do your independent round, work your tails, or at least one of your tails, you don't have to work both of them, work them over your chain 3 space and between 3 double crochets and 3 double crochets from your previous round. So pull them through like that, and then work in your tails. Okay, and this will make sure that your popcorns don't pop through the space. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so can you see what I've done there? Right, and then you're just going to work your tails of your popcorns into the back of the popcorn like that. Okay, and that'll keep them nice and upright. Okay, so I shall see you at round number 11. So we're on to round number 11, and we're going back to our cypress color. Nice easy round. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to be working into our chain spaces from round number 6. Okay, so where we made our little bunny ears, and we have our 2 times chain spaces, and there, so it was a chain 3 that we put in there. All right, so we're going to be working into those chain 3 spaces, and you're going to make 2 single crochets and then chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then into the next bunny ears. I like calling them bunny ears. We're going to do another 2 single crochets. Then you'll chain 2 and so on. Right, so into each of the bunny ears you're working 2 single crochets and you're working a chain 6 in between, and then 2 single crochets into the chain 3. So that's round number 6. Chain 2, 2 single crochets, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 single crochets, chain 2, 1, 2, and so on. Easy peasy, because that chain 6 is going to go behind our 6 double crochets like that. Okay, so you're just going to carry on like that, nice easy round, and then when you get to the end you can just work a slip stitch into your second single crochet and fasten off and work in all your tails. Simple. So I shall see you at round number 12. This is the end of round number 11, or round number 11, and I shall see you then at round number 12. See you there. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to another color, and the color I'm using here is pistachio. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our aster color, round number 9. We're going to skip the first double crochet, and we're going to be working into the spaces. So there are 5 spaces between our 6 double crochets, and we're going to work, so I'm doing a chain 4 which is equal to 1 treble, but please do I've just gone blank. A treble, a standing treble if that's what you do. Okay, now the pattern is work 2 trebles into our 5 spaces. Okay, and now we're not closing the trebles with a chain 1. So I tend to close my stitches together. You know, if I'm working 2 stitches together, I work a chain 1 and then I might work other chains, but I don't count that unless of course I say that I do. But this time we're not working that chain 1 space. Okay, so you're just going to pop on right over, you're going to skip the next double crochet and then work 2 trebles together, yarn over twice into the next space, 2 trebles together, okay, yarn over twice into the next space, 2 trebles together, and into our 5th space, 2 trebles together. So I'll see you in a moment. Noisy neighbors, hashtag noisy neighbors. Okay, so let's resume. As I mention in my videos often, especially for those of you who have done my patterns before, you'll know that I have been blessed not with excruciatingly noisy neighbors. And so sometimes you're going to hear stuff going on in the background, but mostly I do try and make my videos in between all the drama going on around me. So, all right, so now we've done our 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of 2 trebles together. Then you're going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you hear some very strange sounds, other strange sounds, I have Roxy sleeping under my desk and her tummy is rumbling. All right, so we're going to skip that first double crochet again of our 6 double crochets. We're going to work, so you get the gist, right? Nice, easy round. 1, 1, there we go. Sometimes you have to try that again. Roxy. She just ate half a scone. So that's probably why her tummy is grumbling. And again. All right, so pretty simple. You're working 5 sets of 2 trebles together into those 5 spaces between our 6 double crochets from round number 9, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chains in between. So it's going to look like that. Okay, so you're just going to work all the way around like that. So you should have 8 sets of 5 times 2 trebles together, and you should have 8 chain 6 spaces. And to finish off, you're just going to go all the way around and then just slip stitch into the top of your first 2 trebles together like that, fasten off, and I shall see you at round number 13. So we're on to round number 13, and round number 13 we're going back to our walnut. Now this is quite a fun part actually. So do you remember when we were busy with round number 8? We did those 2 single crochets either side of the double crochet front post, right? And that was round number 8. Now what you're going to do is you're going to find that double crochet front post, and then into the chain 1 space to the left of that double crochet front post, you're going to work a treble. So I'm going to do a 1, 2, 3, 4 as usual, my traditional way of doing a treble. Now chain 4 equal to 1 treble into that chain 1 space from round number 8. Then you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to yarn over twice, and now you're going to work into the chain 1 space to the right of that double crochet front post. So you're basically working a cross stitch, right? Then you're going to yarn over, and you immediately going to work a half double crochet front post over your first 2 trebles together. Chain 2, and then you're going to continue with that sequence over your next 5 times 2 trebles together, right? Chain 2, and then again half double crochet front post, chain 2, half double crochet front post, yarn over twice into the chain 1 space to the left of our double crochet front post from round number 8, 1 treble, 1, 2, 3, yarn over twice, and remember you're going behind to make your cross stitch. You're going behind your first treble front post, and then it's not a front post, just a treble. Yarn over, And then treble front. I've got treble front posts on the brain now. Okay, so just want to try and work in front. Okay, well that was the beginning one, and why it's a little bit tricky. So I want to actually just go work over that. I'll get it right eventually. There, half double crochet front post, chain 2, 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 half double crochet front post, yarn over twice. I'll do that one more time. 1 treble into the chain 1 space, chain 3, and 1 treble into the chain 1 space to the right of the double crochet front post, yarn over, 1 half double crochet front post over our next 2 trebles together. Okay, so it's going to look like that. Right, so you can see our little pink, our little blush. I can't remember if I told you what the color was there. Blush. I can't remember now. Okay, I'm just going to pull that through like that. Okay, so it's going to look like so. And you're going to have that treble cross stitch there, right, with your chain 3s. So you're going to have 16 trebles, you're going to have 8 chain 3s. Then you're going to have, so if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're going to have 45. What is 8 5s? 5, 10, 30, 35, 40. 40. Oh, I can't do my 8 times tables. Then you're going to have 40 half double crochet front posts, and you are going to have chain spaces. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to have 32 chain 2 spaces. Right, I think that's it. Okay, so you're just going to carry on like that, and then when you get to the end, you can just slip stitch into your chain, your first chain 3 space, and fasten off. And I shall see you at round number 14. Okie dokie, we're on to round number 14. And now, in the sample piece, I used this color, lime, but now I've decided to use this color, which is mustard. But in the text version of the pattern, I'm going to list both colors so you can decide. So I'll just show you my sample piece. But I'm a bit embarrassed because I haven't worked in any tails. It is the sample piece, so I tend to sort of pull things out and change things. Okay, can I show you? Ta-da! All right, so we are here. Okay, and as you can see, I've used lime, but now I'm going to use the mustard. All right. And it's possible that I might change this color, and I am going to change something around here. So don't, but for the rest, I'll just show you what it looks like. Okay, I don't think I'll change much else. So this sometimes happens. One of the reasons in my blog post today, which was the Valentine's blog post, I didn't show, I had promised you guys that I would do a sneak peek. All right. But I had already changed a few little things. So I didn't want you having a look at it and then, you know, you're going to, when the pattern comes out, it'll be slightly different. But I do sometimes do that where I have a sample piece and I'm pretty much 99%, you know, certain that that's going to be the pattern. But then as I go along with the videos, I think, I'm going to change a color here, or maybe there was something I wasn't 100% happy with in the sample piece, and then I might just redesign that. Okay, but overall, the corners, for example, and all of this, and that, and these, I'm happy with, so they're going to stay. So now you can see what's going on. Like, although of course the picture of the finished piece, not the sample, you will already be have had a look at. So okay, so we are over here, and as I said, I'm going to change the lime and I'm going to use mustard, I think. I'm still not 100% sure. Okie dokie. So nice, easy peasy round. We're going to be working into our chain 2 spaces. So those little chain 2 spaces that we made over here. So we have 4 of those, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to work a popcorn into each of those. So as you can see, all the stitches are just very, very basic crochet stitches that even as a beginner you should probably know. And I like to keep it simple. I like to use just very simple traditional crochet stitches, and then just play around with them. It's really like drawing, sketching with yarn. And of course this is part of our floral series, and you know how much I love flowers, so lots and lots of florally pieces, little bits and pieces going on here. Okay, so now I'm going to start. I'm just going to do this one little section with you. Right, so you can see what it looks like. We're going to do a chain 6 in between our sets of 4 popcorns, and between the popcorns we're going to make chain 1s. All right, so we have a chain chain 1 to close, and then a chain 1. Okay, so it might look like I'm doing a chain 2 space, but the 1 chain is just closing the popcorn. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Chain 1 to close, chain 1 into the next chain 2 space. This is the chain 2 space from our previous round. I know I'm going very fast, but you know, as I so I just kind of my phone ran out of battery at that point, so blah blah blah, you missed a lot of blah blah blah. Anyway, so as I was saying, I know I go a little bit fast, but I do take it for granted that you guys know how to do a popcorn. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. So you're going to make 4 popcorns, and in between each of your popcorns you'll do a chain 1, and then between each section of 4 popcorns you'll make a chain 6, and you're just going to go like that all the way around. You'll make your last chain 6 and then slip stitch into the top of your beginning popcorn. Okay, so that is round number 14, and I shall see you at round number 15.